morning, all. Happy Wednesday. It's a beautiful day outside. It's a beautiful life, right? I hope everybody's having a wonderful week. Hope you got some great plans for the rest of this week. Today's episode and cast of Wisdom Wednesday is I want to talk about tools with you. Tools that may help you or could help you become better at the things that you're doing, become better at your normal daily routines. So what it's going to encompass is a different way of strategizing, a different way of planning your day, a different way of planning out some of your goals and the action items that you're going to take to get to your goals. Too many times we don't achieve the things that we want. That's just the reality of it. We don't get what we want. We feel like we're running in place. We feel like we are having tons of movement, tons of action, but not making any progress. We're not getting closer to any of our achievements. And I would ask you to think about this. Have you ever got to the end of your day and went through, number one, this is predicated on you actually taking a moment at the end of the day to pause and reflect. But if you ever got to the end of your day and went through and looked at your to-do list, looked at everything that you were supposed to do that day, or mentally categorized everything you were supposed to do that day and checked off nearly the entire list, but felt like you got absolutely nothing done. Felt like you were just, I don't know where the day went. I feel like I wasted so much time. I don't know why at the end of today, I was so busy. And you go home to your spouse and they say, so how was your day? What'd you do today? And you're like, I don't know. I was busy. I got a ton of things done, I think. But at the end of the day, you really didn't accomplish anything. You didn't have any achievements at the end of the day. You didn't make any progress towards anything. So what I'm going to talk about today is a tool that you can put into your arsenal that can help you with your daily schedule blocking, weekly blocking, or also blocking out a long-term goal. So you can use it in all of these categories. So I'm really going to try and break it down a little bit for you. So if you get lost or confused, over here on the right-hand side of your screen or at the bottom, click on chat, go to the right, make sure you hit all panelists and attendees, make sure you're sharing with everybody. I want these to be collaborative experiences. I want you guys to really chime in and add your thoughts. Show us what you're thinking, show us what you're doing and how you may have accomplished or been through some of these same things. So the first question I'm going to ask you, has there ever been a time in your life that you had a clear result and a clear purpose of what you wanted? You chose some time when you came up with a plan, and even though the plan didn't work out, you still achieved your result and your purpose. Has there ever been a time like that for you where you focused on something, you said, this is what I want, here's how I'm going to get it, and you started out on that path and you knew exactly what you wanted, when you were going to have it by, what it looked like, what it felt like, what it tasted like, whatever that was, this is what I'm going to get. And you went through that whole pattern of taking the actions that you set out to take. But along the way, everything you did just kind of pulled you off into a different track. It wasn't the exact action plan that you put into place. But at the end of the day, at the end of the week, at the end of the month, at the end of the year, you still achieved your outcome. You still achieved your result. Has anybody ever experienced that? Please type in yes or no. Karma, all the time. All the time, she's saying that I have an outcome, I have a purpose, I have a focus on something, and I go through all the steps. This is what I said, it's going to take this, and this. And I start doing those things and nothing goes as planned, but I still ended up getting the outcome that I wanted. Now, conversely to that, have you ever had an unclear outcome or result? You knew you wanted something, it wasn't clear in your head what it was, what exactly it was, or exactly how you're going to do it. You just felt like, oh, I kind of want this, and you just had an unclear outcome, an unclear result, but you started taking some action steps to get there, and you got entirely frustrated and then gave up. So there's a lot that happens to us most of the time. And that's the reason that I'm talking today about this tool for you, because the ultimate result here, sorry, there's something flying around here. The ultimate result that we're looking for is when you set out to achieve something, whether it's in the day, in the week, in the month, in a quarter, in a year, whatever it is, if you've ever had that focus and clear outcome, knew exactly what it was that you wanted and became very in tune and aligned with that, focused and thought about it every single day, and then you went out and took actions, no matter what actions you take, whether they were good, bad, ugly, or indifferent, if you kept that outcome clear in your focus and clear ahead of you, and you knew exactly what it was you wanted, it didn't matter what the result of your actions were, because you took a different action, you took a different step, and you made sure you ended up where you were at, because you had the focus, you had the outcome in mind. Then also, the other way, when you didn't really have clear focus, you really didn't have a specific outcome that it was you wanted, you were just kind of blindly doing things, hoping that something came out in the end, and you got that feeling, you got frustrated because you didn't know exactly what it was that you were after and what you were working towards. So the biggest part here is the questions that you asked yourself. Most people ask the question, what do I need to do today? What should I do today? How am I going to get this done today? These are the things that most people ask. What steps should I take today? That's what they start with. That's the initial question that you start with. What should I do today? How do I get this done today? What are the steps I'm going to take today? How am I going to realize that this is what needs to happen? What if this happens? And then you can see how the rabbit hole starts going, and you start going through all the myriad of different things. And then you start telling yourself all of the BS that can happen to you when you take those steps. And then when you take those steps, the drunk monkey kicks in and starts telling you, well, if that happens, then this will happen, and then this will happen. And that's just way too, you didn't want that anyway. And you start going down that rabbit hole. So then ultimately you don't take any action, or if you do take action, it's not directed towards anything specifically. So that's the question that most people are asking themselves. I'm going to ask you to slow down and come back around. And I need you to start asking a set of different questions. Don't ask, what am I going to do today? Or how am I going to get that done? If it's a long-term goal, how am I going to get there? And start brainstorming how you're going to get there. The first thing that you need to do is you need to change your question. And I've said this before, if you change your question, you can change your life. You can change your outcome if you change the question you ask yourself. And here's the power of that. When you ask yourself, how am I going to get something done? What am I going to do to achieve whatever it is, even if you're not clear and focused on it? What should I do today? What actions can I take? And you don't know the answer, your brain starts wanting to prove itself right. Your brain doesn't want to be proved wrong. So you're asking yourself, what do I do today? Well, I don't know. I don't know what to do today. So your brain starts saying, you're right. You don't know. I don't know either. Maybe we should do this. And it just kind of, something just pops out and you're like, oh, I guess I'll try that. Or no, that's a bad thing, because if this happens, this person will do this and this and this and this. Your brain doesn't want to be proved wrong. So when you ask yourself, what do I need to do today? Or how am I going to get this done? It gives it an answer that is just reiterating what you already don't know and don't know how to do. So the question you need to start asking yourself is, what do I want? What is the outcome that I want? So I'm going to break it down in a little bit with a weekly and then a long-term in a little bit, but I'm going to go through this process with you. So the first question you need to start asking yourself is, what do I want? What is my outcome? And this method of trying to put together a plan for an outcome, for a goal of something you want to achieve, whether it's in a week, month, or year, is called, it's a Tony Robbins plan called RPM. It's called RPM, Rapid Planning Method, but when you break it out into 3 sections, it's a results-oriented, purpose-driven, massive action plan. And we can show, just like I asked you that question, when you had a clear focus on what you wanted, the action steps really didn't matter, because you kept tweaking and changing and moving to get a different action, because you were clearly focused on what you wanted and you kept going after it no matter what. So what I'm going to ask you to start doing is playing with these questions. What do I really want? Your brain is like a heat-seeking missile. It has these servo mechanisms that are just dialed in on whatever you focus on. Whatever you focus on, that's what your brain's going to start focusing on. It's going to start creating emotions. It's going to start creating thoughts, and it's going to start creating feelings and working towards those things. So when you focus on, how do I do this? Your brain starts focusing on, how do I do this? Well, you don't know what to do. I don't know how to do this. You have to start asking yourself a different question. Get clarity on what it is that you want. What do I want? SMART goals, S-M-A-R-T. SMART stands for specific, measurable, attainable, real, which real to you, meaning purposeful to you, and then time sensitive. Those are the kind, that's clarity. When you know exactly what it is that you want, specifically, I want to lose 10 pounds in the next 30 days. I want to get 5 listings in this next 60 days or in this next 90 days, this next quarter. When you know specifically what it is that you want, your brain is starting to focus on that rather than what it doesn't know, which is it doesn't know how to get there. It doesn't know what it's going to do. It doesn't know how it's going to do it. But when you focus on 10 pounds in 30 days, 5 listings in the next quarter, I got 5 listings in this next quarter, and you get specific, measurable. Now, how can you measure it? Can you measure if I lost 10 pounds in 30 days? Absolutely. Can you measure if you got 5 listings in 90 days, in a quarter? Yes. These are the questions you have to start asking yourself about what do I want and what's my outcome. Attainable. Can you attain it? Do you have the wherewithal about you? Do you have the emotion, the energy, the actions, the resources, the resourcefulness around you to achieve that goal? Can you find a workout routine that's anywhere on the internet, on YouTube, in a book, on an app that will help you lose 10 pounds in 30 days? Absolutely. Can you do that? Can you find a way to get 5 listings in the next 90 days? Do you have the resources around you, the resourcefulness in you to make sure that you talk to the right people, engage in the right activities, consume the right knowledge, take the right actions to do that? Absolutely. It's absolutely attainable. Now, real. Real is going to be real and purposeful to you. Purpose is the next question. I'll briefly touch on it now. You have to have a reason why you're doing it. You have to. So the reason for losing the weight is to create a more healthy lifestyle so I can live an abundant life with my family, with my kids. The reason to get 5 listings in this next quarter is to take my business to the next level, because I've only ever had 1 listing at one time, so that I can start working towards that success of having my own business, not just being a real estate agent. And then time sensitive. In what time? We've already touched on it. 10 pounds in 30 days. So what is my outcome? When you start thinking in terms of outcomes instead of activities, your brain just becomes super focused on that outcome, and it skips over all the other BS that starts popping into your system that's not related to the outcome. It's just starts flushing it out. It blocks it, and it basically kicks that out when you're focused on your outcome in the activity, or outcome instead of the activity. So you have to start thinking in terms of what is my outcome? What do I want? Can I make it a SMART goal, a SMART outcome? This is more for the long term. We'll talk about the short term, how you can put it into blocking as well. And in this case, most people are going to move. They end up mistaking movement and action items for achievement. So at the end of the day, you feel frustrated because you moved all day, you did a ton of action items normally the way you're normally doing it, but you didn't get any achievement out of it. You didn't get any step closer to the goal that you wanted. So we just become frustrated, and a lot of us will end up giving up. Carmen said, as a teacher, I was required to implement SMART goals for our students. Absolutely. It's a great practice with anything that you're looking to achieve or anything that you're looking to get at. So first question, what is my outcome? What do I want? What is that big goal, that outcome, that focused result that I'm looking to get out of this? What is the result I'm looking for? So results oriented. The second goal, or second question you should be asking yourself now is, why am I doing this? What is my purpose? What's the reason that I want to do that? And we touched on it a few minutes ago. If I want to lose 10 pounds in 30 days, what's the reason that I'm doing it? I want to lose 10 pounds in 30 days so that I can live an incredibly vibrant life. I can be healthier. I can have more energy to spend time with my family. I can not be tired. I can get more work done. Whatever that is, figure out a reason so that I can live a purposeful life for my children. Whatever that is, what's the why? Same thing with the listings, 5 listings in the next quarter, or 10 transactions in the next 60 days, next quarter, whatever that is, have a reason why. And don't make it because I just want to be successful. Have a really strong emotional attachment, because if you whether you get your outcome you're after, it's only going to be determined by if you have clarity or you have enough emotional juice attached to what it is that you want. You have to have the emotional attachment. If you don't have that, what is going to keep you going the first time that something hits you and throws you off track? What's going to keep you moving? What's going to keep you working towards those things? So that's why the purpose in the why is big. We talk to you guys about that all the time. We talk about, as Jeff and Craig will call it, a big ass smile goal. What is something that's going to put a big ass smile on your face? Not just when I get this, it'll make me happy. No, it'll make me ecstatic. I'm gonna be up doing jumping jacks, running in place, hands in the air, celebrating like crazy because I just achieved this goal. What is something that's gonna put a big ass smile on your face? And if it doesn't put a big ass smile on your face, make it bigger. That's going to be your test. If you don't think about what you're going after and the reason that you're going after it, the purpose, the thing that's going to fulfill you the most, the thing that's going to give you that feeling of enlightenment and just fulfillment, if it doesn't put a big ass smile on your face, make the goal bigger. Because when you achieve that, you have to be ready to just explode with excitement, because that's what's going to keep you pushing through these steps that you're going to have to take. So why is always more important than how. These are always things that you've heard plenty of times before. Purpose is more important than the objective. A lot of us have a why, but it's not active. A lot of us have these reasons why they want to do things, but they're not active within us. We didn't engage with them. We didn't take them and really embed them into us and focus on them every day and have a clear, concise vision and purpose and reason as to why. And we don't wake up making it vividly imaginable in our minds. Your brain does not know the difference between what you vividly imagine and what's actually real. It doesn't. And when you can create enough emotion behind these outcomes and these goals and enough reason and purpose, and you think on them and visualize them and focus on them daily, you become more attached to them. Your actions become more succinct with that goal. Your brain aligns with your emotions and your focus, and your body follows. That's just how the body works. So we have to start implementing all of these things into this order. Why am I doing this? Is the second question. Know the outcome. Your first question you're asking yourself. Second question is, why am I doing this? Why do I do? What is my purpose? And then the third question you're going to ask yourself, the last question, is how? And the M in the RPM plan is a massive action plan. What is the massive action plan that I'm going to take to get that? That's the plan. So there can be a ton of hows, a ton of steps, a ton of plans, a ton of them in order that you can take and you can put in once you have a clear, concise focus, a reason why, and you start putting a massive action plan in together. So let me show you. I'm going to share this really quick and I'll jump into. So when you're sitting down and you're trying to do, where'd it go? Oh, I think I might have deleted that one. I can pull it again. Give me 1 second. So when you're sitting down to do an RPM plan, just go. Sorry, give me 1 second. I apologize. It's going to look like this. I want to show you what it actually looks like. And this is how you're going to draw it, because writing, what you write, you invite, and what you don't, you won't. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to write these down. Oh, it saved it like that. Okay. So in the set, what you're going to do is you're going to take a page. You're going to take a piece of paper and you're going to divide it into 3 sections. You're literally just going to hold a piece of paper up and you're going to divide this piece of paper, hold it like that, and then just make 3 blocks, just like that. That's all you're going to do. In the center, you are going to put result. At the top, my result that I'm after. Why is it in the center? Because this is the bullseye. This is the target. This is what you're after. This is where you are going to sit down and you're going to say, what is it that I want? What is the outcome I'm after? Whatever that is. Is it to be better at your business by taking this many listings in this period of time, whatever that is, you're going to put that in there. So what is my result that I'm after? This is the long-term planning. This is the 90 days or a year type planning that you can put into using an RPM plan. So what result am I after? I want to lose 10 pounds in the next 30 days, and I'm going to do it 30 minutes out of every day. Whatever that, put an outcome, put your result, put what you want into that. All right. Then on the right, sorry for my chicken scratch. And this, I know it looks like it'll up there, but on the right of your page, you're going to put purpose. Purpose. And that purpose you're going to put in there is the reason why. Why are you doing this? What is it that's going to give you that emotional energy that's getting you to that point? Is it, again, like we talked about, is it that emotional charge? Is it to live a vibrant life? Is it to be there for your family? Is it because you don't want to? I've got a 2-year-old and a going on 6-year-old, and I want to be there for them when they're 18. I do not want to die young. I want to be able to be the best father I can be. I want to treat them and teach them by example. I want to love them. Whatever that is, start going into that. Expand on that however you can, putting in as many emotions and as much reason why and purpose as you can. That's going to be really, really important. And then on the other side, you're going to write map. Your map is your massive action plan. And this is where we're going to start putting the massive action steps for you to take. So this is the beginning. This is just laying out framework. And then what we do here, and this is where it's powerful to have a coach. What I would do with somebody that I'm coaching is I'm going to walk through this results-oriented, purpose-driven, massive action plan. I'm going to ask them what the result is and figure out what that purpose is. I'm not worried about the massive action plan just yet. I want to know the result. We're going to focus on the result. We're going to talk about the result. We're going to play this result out, and we're going to make sure it's specific, measurable, attainable, real, and time sensitive to them. So we have a specific outcome that we're after. After we have that specific outcome, we really focus and dive in on the purpose. Once we have that purpose, then what we do is we go through an exercise. I'm going to get them, and I want them to, I'll walk through it with you right now. This is exactly what I would do with them. I'm going to have them stand up. I want you to stand up. I could even play some music to kind of get them loosened up and get them out of their own head, because we need you out of your head. We need you out of the bullshit that's already driving your daily life. Get out of your head, get out of your head, get out of your head, shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. Then we stop and then breathe. Take a deep breath in, put a deep breath out. Take a deep breath in, and then a deep breath out. And we'll do that a few times until they feel nice and calm and clear, chest out, shoulders back, head up, nice and confident. And we start thinking on that result. And I start asking them, so this result that you're after, to lose this 10 pounds in the next 30 days, and going through that time frame, start talking about the result. And here's the reason why. Really focus on seeing yourself 30 days out from now already achieving that goal. Tell me about the reason that you're doing it. Start feeling that purpose and that emotion that you have in with you. See yourself on day 30, standing right at the foot of that scale, stepping on it with your arms up, knowing that you accomplished it, telling yourself how freaking awesome you are and how amazing your life is going to be and how amazing it's going to be to attach to your children and let them see what kind of example you're setting for them and showing them what it is to live this strong, powerful, strength-filled life. And we start going through and keep building on that and keep stacking emotions on top and on top and on top and going and going and going and telling you to visualize that now. Show yourself, think and visualize of every day that you're spending with them, that you're able to run around and keep up with them and you're never tired and you're just on top of it. And the way that they look at you and they know how awesome and amazing you are, we start really digging into that and anchoring that into them, anchoring that emotion and that outcome into them. Then once we have that, once we are fully energized and pumped and ready with that result and that purpose and that real emotion that's in there, then we say, now, what would it take? What would you have to do on a daily basis, on a weekly basis to achieve that outcome right there? Would you have to download an app? Would you have to exercise a certain amount of time. How often would you exercise? What kind of exercise do you think you would do? Do you have anybody in your life right now that you should connect to as an action step? I should call this person because I know that they've done this before, and I'm going to get with them and talk with them about that. And then you start asking those questions. I ask you those questions and make you decide what the action steps are. Do you think that you should do something like this to achieve that kind of goal? And start walking through that massive action plan. And we brain dump everything that you've got as to everything that you already know and the things that you don't know where you're going to get them. And we put it into this massive action plan. And those steps, once we have the result and you're focused and the purpose and it's anchored into you, the massive action steps are already have that solidified effect inside your body and inside your brain, and they're kind of attached already. Now, the goal is to visualize and focus on this outcome daily. So we're going to take another couple steps to put it onto an index card that you bring with you. It depends if you're visual, auditory, or kinesthetic. We'll do different things to make sure that it sticks with you. You see it on a mirror. It's on your screensaver on your phone. It's on a index card that you bring with you. Whatever that is, we're going to make sure we try and keep it anchored in you. So that's a long-term, simple RPM plan, but it's really powerful when you do it with somebody else in the beginning because it's tough for us to get out of our own head. So if you work through that with somebody and you do these exercises, it really anchors it in and you can get it onto paper. So I'm going to go back to sharing my screen because that's the long-term goal. That's the 90 days or the 1-year plan. That's really getting that purpose, really visualizing getting that. But you can use RPM, you can use this rapid planning method into daily blocking too. So when you start thinking in terms of outcomes instead of, let's go back over here. Here, when you start thinking in terms of outcomes rather than action steps, you can block things together. So here's something that this is real basic, a simple to-do list that somebody might put together. They've got this, I've got to go running. Whether it's for a day, a week, or whatever it is, I've got a board meeting I've got to set up, I've got to update my boss, I've got to put a plan together, I've got to put a project together for them, make sure that I call my family, call my wife, call my daughter, I've got a meeting with this person, I've got to prepare a meeting for this person over here, I've got to get my dry cleaning, take the dog to the vet, I got to go running, I've got to lift some weights, schedule massage, buy running shoes. So here's a sample of what you could potentially do. This is a sample to-do list that would leave you confused and leave you without any outcome. If you start thinking in terms of outcomes, what is an outcome, you could already see them in red, that you would want to be taking out of here? What is a result that you would want to take? It's getting my body into better shape so that I can be more vibrant and more energetic. And what to-dos did you put on here for the list that you can put into a basic RPM block? Instead of writing a to-do list, put it into a block. My result is to do this. The purpose is so that I can feel this way, do this, whatever that is, start really getting attached to that purpose. And here's the massive action steps. I need to get new running shoes. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to schedule massage. I'm going to go running. And then whether it's breathing, yoga, adding in other things, putting them in there, all of those are related to you having a better life. Eating better, doing those things would be, if I need to go to the grocery store, or I need to get a list for the grocery store, that could be in there because you're trying to eat better. So you put all of those in together. Now you have an outcome that you're focused on rather than 4 individual steps. And if you can focus on being healthier and being better at what you're doing and being in better shape, even if you didn't get your massage scheduled today, because if you focus on these 4 or 5 steps and to-dos and you don't do one of them, your brain thinks that you've failed somewhat. You still may, well, I got 3 of them done, I missed one. Well, it's not so bad. But if I'm focused on an outcome of getting into better shape, living a better life, being more energetic, getting my body healthy, living a healthier lifestyle, and I took 2 of these steps of 4 towards doing that, you automatically feel like you're working towards your outcome. You automatically feel that your brain connects the actions you took towards the outcome that you're after, rather than the I missed 2 to-do steps today. So it's more powerful by blocking them together and saying this is an outcome for health. The other thing, board meeting, update CEO, meet with the marketing director, prepare a meeting, prepare a stockholders meeting. That would be an outcome for, or you'd have an outcome in a different sense. You'd block a business plan together for RPM. What is my outcome? My outcome is to have a full update by the end of the day on my business and make sure everybody's on the same page with where we're headed and what direction we're in. Even if you don't get to update the CEO, you know that if you are your boss, you know that if you've given him a brief email or a text message or scheduled something and it's on the books, you know you've accomplished that rather than feeling like you didn't do something on your list. You've made steps towards progressing towards your outcome. And that's the big picture. That's what it's really all about. It's about making sure that you're working towards an outcome, not living in movement and action steps every single day that will eventually tire you out and frustrate you because you didn't have a clear focus of where you're going. Get a clear focus of where you're going, have a reason why you're doing all of that, and then put a massive action plan together as to how you can get it. So I'm going to go to, these are some basic steps of planning, and this is basically the same thing we've been talking about. I'm going to wrap this all up with this. So your steps towards making a master plan here. Capture. So if you want to sit down, the first thing you probably want to do is sit down and brainstorm what it is that I want. What do I want? What is it that I want? What is the outcome that I'm after? Start going through all of that. Get a piece of paper and just have what I'll call a brain dump. And literally take everything in your brain. What do I want? I want to do this, and start listing everything that you want to do. No matter what that is, start listing them out. And then take the top couple that you have. And sometimes it's very powerful when you do this to take your wheel of life. I've mentioned your wheel of life before. It's got the different sections that are basically a pie chart for your wheel of life with your relationship, your spirituality, your finance, your career, your spirit, your mission, your whatever those are. You've got a whole list of all of them there. And then start going through, what do I want in each one of those sections? What is it that I'm after? What do I want? What is the outcome I want for each of those sections? What does a level 10 life look like in each of the sections of my wheel of life? What does that look like for me? And you could start brain dumping and brainstorming as to what that really looks like when I have a level 10 in every part of that wheel of life. And then pick out 3 of them that you're going to focus on and start putting together a RPM plan. Begin chunking those action items and asking 3 questions. What is the outcome and result that I want? What's the reason I want it? And what's the massive action plan? What steps am I going to take? Then you have to commit to block time and resolve your musts. Number your outcomes based on your priority, not the order in which you want to do them. So which ones are going to be the most important? What is the priority? You have to actually commit to putting this block together of RPM and basically saying, this is what I want. This is the reason that I want it. Here's the action steps I want, and commit to blocking some time out in a schedule. You have to schedule it. If you don't schedule it, it's less likely to get done. So putting it out there, 1 hour a day, I'm going to focus on nothing but listings. 30 minutes a day, I'm going to focus on my health and wellness. Whatever those is, schedule the time. And when it goes onto a schedule, it doesn't get moved. That's the most important part. Having a schedule means this is when I do this, it doesn't move. And if it does move, it only moves and swaps with something else. It does not get removed. And then the last step for your planning is complete, measure, and celebrate. Celebration is key. I know there's a lot of you out there that I've talked to and we've went through that we do not celebrate enough. You have to celebrate your victories. You have to celebrate your achievements. You have to. Most of us breeze over them, usually because it's in a to-do list. And those are all victories that we got done in that day. It may not have got us closer to an outcome, but they're all victories, but we don't celebrate them because we're not getting closer to an outcome. Having a result and an outcome gives us something to work towards, makes it easier for us to celebrate when we get those steps done. And because you have emotion involved with it, when you got a little bit closer, you can sit back and really just take a deep breath and envision the outcome, envision yourself one step closer, and really feel and measure that I'm this much closer and celebrate in it for a moment. Most of us don't celebrate enough. we focus on, like I said yesterday in the morning meeting, we focus on our fears. We focus on our failures. We obsess over the failures at the end of the day and the things we didn't do well enough, the things we could have done better, but we don't celebrate in our successes enough. If you can change that focus at the end of the day, a pause and reflect moment, if you are focusing on a failure that you have, that's fine. Just make sure you're learning from it. Make sure there's something you're taking away from it and there's a meaningful message you took from it. Not just, I can't believe I did that. Holy shit, what are they going to think of me? And then going on with that. And then focus on the successes you had in the day, not the failures. And that, my friends, is what I have for you today. So start thinking on different outcomes and different results. Think in terms of results and outcomes instead of action steps. That should be your first step to train your brain to say, what is it that I want? What is my outcome I'm looking for? If you don't have a specific outcome, then you need to brainstorm and find out what is that outcome? Why do I want it? And put a massive action plan together. That's a great way to really get driven and pushed towards a specific goal. And in this business, if you are not focused on something, a lot of times we get nothing done. No one's going to sit there and hold you accountable to the things that you do. This is going to be something that helps hold you accountable to your action steps, hold you accountable to the outcomes that you want, and really has the purpose and emotion that's going to push and drive you to do what you need to do. So if anybody has any questions, feel free to reach out. It is June 24th. We got 7 days left in the month till the end of the year. So I'd really love for you guys to sit down and focus. Now is a great time to start pushing some outcomes and results for the end of the year. What is it that you want? What do you want to achieve by the end of this year? And really start focusing on that. Once you're able to focus on those, let's really attach some meaning and reason to it, and we can put a plan together. That's what you have us for. That's what you have your management, your coaches, and all the other agents for that matter for. I see a lot of you holding each other accountable, having little private Zoom meetings and getting together, and that is awesome. I commend you all for doing that. If you're not engaged in doing the things that you need to do and want to do, reach out to us so we can get you engaged. I know a lot of us are reaching out to you. Make sure you return to calls and let's get you going towards some of the goals that you want to achieve. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. Have a happy Wednesday, and we will talk soon.